Howdy folks, I'm the Roleplay Gamer and I like to party. Welcome to this very special episode of Spaceship Porn. This episode has 100% more spaceship nudity, which is something I know you guys have been asking for. Oh, aren't I funny? I'm making jokes. Okay, so sometimes I will use this program here called SketchUp. I believe it's made by Google. And there is a free version of it. That's what I use just to, play around and have some fun designing spaceships. It's not for anything in particular. I just enjoy it. I told you guys I really like spaceships. Sometimes I will use it to get sort of a vision for myself of how a spaceship looks for a story that I may be writing, because I also write short stories. Occasionally, again, mostly for my own enjoyment. But here we go. This is the ship, or the current design for the ship that I am using in my current little tale. Its purpose is that of an exploration ship slash, I suppose, colony scout. The idea is that they send these ships out with advanced jump drives to scout potential colonies or terraforming targets or planets ripe for mining and whatnot. The crew of the ship, surveys it, figures out what it's good for, then sort of claims it officially, and they send word back to, the fleet or home base or whatever, and then they send out the colony ships. So let's just have a look at what we've got here. As you might imagine, the walls, I've taken them off so that we can have a look at the inside. But otherwise, it would look more like that. Okay, so at the front here, we've got our bridge. So we've got like navigation and piloting and, all your general bridge sort of stuff. When there is combat involved, this is where the crew is likely to be. Not that this is designed to be a combat ship, but it's story-wise, it's been modified to allow for some combat. So that's your CIC sort of bridge area. Through here, with almost direct access to the bridge, we've got the captain's quarters. It's reasonably sizable. We're talking 6 meters by 8 meters. Geez, that's really big. That actually might be too big. I don't know. I might have to make that a little smaller. We'll see how we go. If there's anything else that urgently needs to fit somewhere and can fit, near the bridge, then that's, I'll probably put it there. The bridge might even be a little bit too big. It can be difficult to judge the scale of some of these things. I mean, we're talking 11 meters there. This is the size of a human in comparison. But even so, just the nature of 3D kind of, it can be difficult to get the right perspective. But there you go. Anyway, moving on. Coming down here, we've got sort of the common areas. I was thinking about putting like the mess hall here or something, but I thought it's probably a better idea to leave this space fairly open for maybe auxiliary cargo, but just like moving stuff around, because I've got this big lift here. So if they need to get, any cargo at all from the sort of engineering / workshop deck up to the living and command deck, they can do so with the elevator, and they've got some space here to maneuver whatever. Then over here we've got the sort of mess hall / kitchen area. It's fairly basic, but I figure, oh, hang on, there's an exposed surface there. Let's just fix that right up. There we go. I figure, you have like sundry sort of stoves and sinks on this bench here, and just a couple of tables for the crew to chow down. Otherwise, we've got crew quarters here, through this hallway there. So you have to walk past. Jesus, come on, man. All right, you got to walk past the mess area, and you get into the crew quarters here, and there's another 2 there. So as it stands, it can house the captain and 4 crew members. I would maybe like to put in some more, some more beds somewhere. I don't know where at the moment. Space is kind of tight. I mean, it's not impossible to do so. I've just got to find the right space. And again, it might be here. I might be able to halve the captain's quarters here. Then it would be 4 by 6, which is still plenty of room. I could halve the captain's quarters and have like a stair here, and then we can get, a 5th bunk for another crew member. So that's kind of fun. And then we've got sort of like just sundry storage here. There's not a whole lot of height here. I think this is 1.8 meters. Yeah, a little over. So just like small items. You might be able to put like a weapon rack here or something like that, but I suppose that's up to the crew. Like I said, it's not, its original purpose is not a combat ship, so any combat capabilities will have been modded in later. Otherwise, you've got this big old door here, and this is part of what I think is one of the coolest purposes of the ship. Within the story that I'm writing, they explore these planets using basically what are essentially mechs, like from MechWarrior or something, but they're substantially smaller. Think perhaps more along the lines of Hawken, but maybe even smaller still. I think I might refer to them as like armor or something along those lines. So it's kind of like either a really bulky set of power armor or just a really small mech. This is by no means a final design. This was just to get an idea of size. But this is the kind of scale we're talking about here. Right here. I mean, the legs aren't too bad. They're a little rudimentary, but I'm not 100% pleased with. Like, that's not how I would want them to look in a final sense. And of course, the cockpit, it needs to be more than just a box. But I hope you get the idea of the kind of scale we're talking about here. So if we just get an idea of height, it's almost 6 meters. So let's pull that over here. Come on. Align to the axis, please. There we go. So, about there. That's what we're talking. Plus, it will probably fold up a little bit. So I'm thinking like you can store a couple of them here in the workshop engineering area. Maybe you land the ship, the big old door / drawbridge comes down. You can walk them out and explore the planet and whatnot. So this area is going to be, like I said, it's engineering at the back. I've just left a big old cube here to allow for any, I suppose, I don't know, pipes and wires and shit. Honestly, I don't know what kind of technology I'm going to be writing in as the explanation for FTL travel, but whatever it is, it's going to go there. I feel like I've left enough space to allow for that. And we're talking 9.5 meters by 10 meters there, and how high is it? 8.2, almost 8.3 meters. It's probably enough space to have some sort of ridiculous reactor and whatnot. Again, like I said, I don't know what kind of technology we're going to be dealing with here, but, artistic license and all that. So yeah, this deck is going to be primarily, I suppose, running tests and repairing equipment, maintaining vehicles and such. Maybe a small amount of production. I don't know. We'll I'll think about that. Certainly, once it gets modified for combat, that's maybe somewhere where you could, manufacture ammunition or something. I don't know. We'll see how we go. It's all very early stages, conceptual stuff. Then of course we've got 2 big old engines, and these of course rotate on this axis here. Think very much the Serenity from Firefly, very similar principle. So I'm thinking that the idea is, that's how it would land, and you could have some cool sort of hovering sort of scenarios where it's parallel to the ground and these engines are just facing down and like rocketing down, keeping the ship up, keeping it afloat, which I think is kind of cool. And it's all braced by this this big backbone here. essentially, that runs across the whole middle of the ship. Whether that is necessary structurally, I don't know. Again, I don't like. Does anyone really know what would be required structurally for a spaceship of this caliber? I don't know. But it seems like it might make sense to have like this big backbone for everything to hang off. I suppose the only other thing would be maybe it would be more appropriate to have it, running along the ship instead of, up and down that way. But, whatevs. I still think it looks cool. And there you go. Okay, so yeah, we'll move on to the armor plating here. So this might be a part of the combat upgrades, but this is something I like to do with my ships. It's just really simple to draw in, and that's partly why I like it. But I also think it looks cool, and it adds a little bit of visual, interest. And like I said, it's not hard to draw. So they're literally just plates that are sort of floating above the hull of the ship, and they're meant to withstand impacts from asteroids and missiles and cannons and whatever. Again, I don't know whether the engineering and the science backs this up, but the idea is that the reason that they're lifted off the hull is to hopefully separate, I suppose, pad from the impact a little bit, so it doesn't like rock the whole ship ridiculously. Think of like suspension and whatnot. I don't know if that would actually work, but that's the story I'm sticking to. Plus, it means that the hull plating is modular and really easy to replace when damaged, which I really like. It's like if you take a lot of heat on the top here. You can just replace the squares that are damaged without having to do too much to ship as a whole. All right, so that sort of sums up the basic area. It was just like this engineering deck, and that's it. Then I decided, as part of the combat upgrades, why not add support for at least 2 fighters? Because I really love the idea of larger ships launching smaller ships, basically aircraft carriers in space. This is why I love Battlestar Galactica so much. I just love the whole shooting out of little ships and whatnot. So I've made my own little faux Vipers here. Again, I didn't spend too much time on them. Actually, we can have a look at them in more detail over here. I didn't spend too much time on them, but I just wanted something that looked, at least half convincing. That I could put into the ship. It doesn't look too bad. I don't know. Parts of it are a little bit rudimentary, but I don't mind the engine concepts. I will admit I did take a couple cues from some of the promotional images of No Man's Sky. I do like some of the fighters that they've designed there. And there you go. That's my little Viper mimic. And quite simply, you just shove 2 of those bad boys in there. And you're good to go. Now, how you actually get to them, I haven't decided yet. There'll probably be a couple of manholes, or if we want to be politically correct, person holes, that you just slip down into. It's probably not going to be too comfortable or roomy an experience, because like I said, this is an afterthought. This is definitely a non-official aftermarket upgrade. So it's probably going to be nasty, rudimentary, not comfortable, but that's fine as long as it gets the job done. I don't mind the idea of like sliding down a pole or even just jumping down a hole and jumping into the ship. That's not a bad idea either. Even if it's just like a hatch, because I mean, you don't want a couple of holes in your deck, And considering this is an afterthought, it's likely to be not as strong as the original hull, right? So I wouldn't mind having some sort of like submarine style hatch, maybe right above the cockpits or something, or even just one right in the middle here, that then you jump down and you jump into one of the cockpits there. There you go, more hull plating, and they'll just shoot that out the front there. And I think that's pretty cool. It's pretty, I like it, It's a very simple design. but those are the best, I think. And then you just add on to it. Like when it didn't have this, it was a little bit dull, I reckon. But adding that fighter bay at the bottom gives it some pizzazz. It gives it some personality, and I really appreciate that. You know. There you go. So that's me designing a spaceship. Clearly, I have a problem, guys. Clearly, I have a problem. I need to seek professional help for my indecent spaceship lust. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to gently caress that like button. It needs love like everything does. And let me know what your absolute favorite spaceship is. And I'm talking, you know, TV shows, games, movies, whatever. What do you like? What do you think is funky-ass spaceship design? Anyway, taste the game, be excellent to each other, and I'll see you next time. Roleplay Gamer, out.